if you were a color, which one would you be? I'm Kelly Wilkness, and I'm here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 330, How to Create Your Signature Color Palette. I like this idea. I think everybody should have one. And Anita, if you were a color, which color would you be?
Oh, I think I would be lavender. How about you?
I think you would be lavender too. I think I would be yellow.
I was going to guess that. I thought it was going to be yellow.
Truth be told, I think I would be yellow.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's summery, it's sunny, it's happy. I think it's a good color.
Yeah, I think that's my color. Maybe I would say green because it seems so cool and zen and whatever. But I think really in my heart of hearts, my color would be yellow. So yeah, we're going to find out what color is your color today, or help you figure that out. Anyway, we thought this would be a great episode to really get into the nitty gritty. We talk about limited color palettes a lot, and we talk about, using pops of color around your decor and whatnot, but we really have never really talked about this particular subject.
No, and I'm so glad that we're talking about it, because we've talked about how to create your own signature decorating style, the importance of creating your own decorating style, but we haven't really talked about creating your own signature color palette. And to be quite frank, I think that's just as important, possibly even more important than knowing your style. Because you can take a lot of different styles and put them together, and the color is the unifying element throughout a house. And I've always felt like that's my secret weapon, is knowing that I just have certain colors that I repeat throughout my house, and limiting those. And I just felt like that was kind of something that really pulled everything together. And so if your house is feeling maybe like you not unified, this is really the easiest and the best way to do it. And I did want to add one little nugget to this thought, because some people say, well, I like a lot of different colors in my house. I want every color under the sun, in the rainbow in my house. I think you can do that, and it can look quite nice, but I also believe it requires a higher skill level to achieve in a good way. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. That's not color 101. That's like the master's degree of color.
Right. So it can be done, and I've seen it done well. But if you're not feeling super confident, I wouldn't start there.
Yeah. And then, because then you have to get into the percentages of how much you use those colors and things like that, which we have talked about in the past, but we can sort of circle back a little bit because we never really went too deep into that. But yeah, and it's one of those things that I don't know that I thought about it in years past, but I really think I've always decorated this way, with the continuity of color. Maybe not as honed and as limited a palette as I have now, but it's one of those kind of secret decorating weapons that's right there in the open. Because when you see it, you don't necessarily, maybe now because people have listened to the podcast, you don't necessarily say, oh, well, I know why those rooms look so good, and why she's got this flow, and why this just all seems to feel really good when I'm in this house. It doesn't necessarily jump out at you as being that obvious, but it's right there. The lavender or the blue or the yellow or whatever the color is flowing through all the rooms, and it's holding everything together.
Right. And it also speaks to my thought that to get a really good look for your home, I think the best approach is to approach your entire house as one single entity, rather than, I think I used to think of each room as its own little universe. And what I did in one room could be completely different from what was in the other room. And I think that, again, you can probably make that. I mean, you can make that work, but it's not as easy to pull that together. I think if you want everything to feel cohesive, to feel like it all belongs in the same house, to have it feel like it's your style, I think you want to take these colors, maybe 3 to 5 main colors, and use those throughout your house. And maybe one room focuses more on one color than the other, but it's kind of the same colors. And I want to add one other thought to this. If you have the same colors throughout your entire house, here's the beautiful thing that happens as a result of that. It all feels like it goes together. But the other thing is you can easily move things from one room to another. And I do that all the time. It creates a fresh look without having to make any purchase. And it's such a smooth transition. And it's just a great way to have a fresh look. And it's something that you can do all the time. Whereas if each room has its own color, you're stuck with whatever's in that room. That's it. You're not going to be able to move it somewhere very easily.
Yeah, it's so true. My daughter wants me to reupholster her love seat in bright, bright bubblegum pink, which would look so cool right now in her extra sort of loungy homework room. Because the whole room is white and it's, I have vertical shiplap on the walls and yeah, it's mostly white and gray, and her bedroom is gray paint on the walls. And some people have probably seen that on my blog, and it would be just such a cool pop. But if I do that, then I'm stuck with this. I'm saying, Laura, you're a sophomore. When you leave to go to college, I'm going to be stuck with a pink sofa that I can't move anywhere.
Oh, so, it's a sofa. Oh,
yeah, it's a sofa. Oh. First of all, it's going to be expensive. So we were just talking about this last night. So I talked her into black with pink pillows, which then I can use it again.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And when Evie was smaller, she wanted her room painted pink. And it was the old house that we had to move from anyway, because I was going to have to paint the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just said, we're going to be moving soon, and then we're going to have to pay to paint this in a few years. I said, let's just add whatever color you want in the room, in the furnishings, and just leave the walls. I mean, just, if your kid likes pink, you don't have to paint the walls all pink, just to add a bunch of pink things to the room. And I'm with you. If it's a sofa, I thought you meant like an ottoman, which you could easily reupholster. But if it's a sofa, I'm with you. Add it with throws, pillows, artwork.
Yeah.
And then maybe when she goes off to college, she can take the pink things with her.
Yes.
If that's not your look.
Exactly. Well, then she was like, wait, but I'm not leaving. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, they don't. Yes, they don't.
Leave.
Sometimes they don't leave.
Sometimes they don't leave, but she'll leave. She could come back, but it's okay. I have something funny I have to tell you and share with everyone. I got a text from my friend Julie from high school, who has, listens to the podcast. And that's kind of how we reconnected and rekindled our friendship, which has been so fabulous. Just another offshoot of our podcast. That's been terrific. So she texts me yesterday, I guess it was, tell Anita I went topless today.
Oh,
I took me a moment to think what she was talking about.
You were thinking, I'm a little put off by this.
I was like, are you on a French beach with Anita? What's going on? No. Julie had listened to episode 326 about the China cabinet. So if anybody's listening to this one who hasn't listened to that one, go listen to some great advice, and then you too can go topless and let us know if you do. But it cracked me up. Yeah. So I want to pass that on to you.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yes, it was. She said it felt fabulous.
Didn't it? Well, it's freeing. What can I say? Tell her to send some pictures.
It's still a little chilly in New Jersey, but it looks good.
Tell her to send pictures.
She did. She sent me a picture.
But not in a weird way.
I'll text you. Yes, it looked really nice. But yeah, so anybody listen to 326 and you can try it too. Okay, so let's get going. Let's get some signature palettes rolling here. I think you can start, obviously, you start thinking about it. You might have, if you're in a house for a while, it might be harder because you've already got things going on. But if you feel like it's time for a change, then just start reassessing. Look at all the rooms. As Anita said, look at your house as one entity, not separate rooms and all that. If you're moving to a new house, or you're building a house or something like that, then you have this blank slate. You can start all over. Your palette can be completely different. Like as I did here, as I was getting ready to to move into this house, which took a long time. I had a lot of time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the reason why, even though my house is a Victorian, that I wanted it to be primarily white with black accents, and then the pops of yellow and this golden saffron-y color that I use, is because it was so dark and musty before. It was almost just like running to the light in effect. But I just felt like that would be not only right for the house, but also really felt right for me at this point in my life. How do you get to, your color? Well, as I'm saying, one might just come right to mind, but I would suggest you just make a quick list. Don't overthink it. Just write down maybe 3 to 5 favorites. 3 probably is best. Don't overthink it, but be descriptive. Don't just write blue. Describe it. The kind of blue.
Or find a picture of it and then put it, in your Pinterest, do the Pinterest board with these colors. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you want to start with this 3 to 5. That's kind of a good number. And then go back and listen to kind of which podcast episode was that where we talked about the 60, 30, 10?
Oh.
Because I think that's part of what's going on here. You're going to want, I think, a primary color.
That and put it in the show notes.
Right. So there's the primary color, or the dominant color, the secondary color, and an accent color.
Okay, but let me back up. For what I'm saying about this list is, this would be just to sort of decide what
which the colors are.
You're at the next step where maybe you're making a palette. Like, let's just say you might write down yellow and blue. I don't know.
Well, I think there's a lot of different approaches, but I guess what I'm trying to say is we're not going to have the same amount of each color in the room. And I guess what I'm trying to get across is there's your main color,
right?
Or there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 main colors, and then there's going to be, they're going to be your stars, so to speak. And then you're going to have some smaller actors. So I don't want you to think all these colors are going to be used in the same amount in your house. So that was kind of my point I was trying to make.
Totally agreed. I'm just saying with this quick list, like not thinking about it too much, but being descriptive, this would be to find your star.
Right. So thank you for clarifying that, because I think that's important to clarify, is that I think you want to start with your star color first, and you can pick it a lot of different ways. You can see what color is predominant already in your home. You can see what color maybe that you like to wear the most. Maybe it's a color that you're drawn to the most. But here's the thing. You may look around your house and realize that the color that you really like is nowhere to be found in your house. And Kelly and I both went through this where we changed color palettes. And when you're doing a complete color palette change, it is a jolt to the house. And it's not going to be easy, because you're basically taking out. I had everything red and yellow.
I had to move. I
basically did. And then cover everything with slip covers. So so I don't want you to feel bound by what's in your house now, but it's certainly going to be easier if you kind of like what's in your house to kind of start with that. But yeah, so another way another way to do this is, and this is the way I used to do it, is to go looking at fabrics. And just when I found a pattern that I just adored, I would try to pull out a color that I adored from that patterned fabric.
Oh,
and that would be my main color.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes people do it that way. Mm-hmm.
No, and it's also probably, the people who made the fabric, they've already thought about some colors that look really nice together. So you might get your star and 2 supporting players right in the one fabric, and you could work from there. Also, just pay attention to how colors make you feel. I didn't really realize until I sat down to get ready to do today's episode that I had just posted something on my Instagram. So if anybody follows me on Instagram, I just posted a picture of a yellow rose floral arrangement that I had made. And my caption was, how does yellow make you feel? And, it's, that's what you really have to pay attention. There's that's the color I think I would be if I was a color. And it really makes me feel good and happy. And it makes a lot of other people said the same thing. So yeah, how do colors make you feel? What kind of feeling do you want to have in your home based on how that color moves you? Maybe it's a color from your past that has made an impression on you, like your grandma's jadeite collection or something, and you just love that green because it makes you feel good.
Oh, I love jadeite.
Yeah, so things like that. So it doesn't, please don't make it necessarily the color of the year.
Well, in the end, you have to keep your family in mind, because if it were just me, purple would be the main purple color throughout my entire house. But it's a little on the girly side, so I have not made that. The main color really is more of a blue, kind of a cornflower. Well, I don't know. I have different shades of blue, but definitely blue, I would say, is more the major shade. And then I have purple is more of a minor player that I sneak in whenever I can.
I'm noticing. I don't know if the other people in your house are noticing, but it looks really beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I did do the purple rug, but I held my breath because I thought I have 2 purple rugs at the farm now.
Right.
And I thought, am I going to get away with this? Am I going to do this? I'm like, I'm doing it. And no pushback. So,
no pushback. Okay.
Well, but he says he's just numb to it anymore. But I know the poor guy. He's really, but he did not like all the florals in the house, floral fabrics. And I got rid of almost every single floral fabric in the house to make him happy. And so that's kind of the compromise. So it's kind of, you just got to work it out for yourself and your family.
Yeah. No, that's really true. You have to take into consideration.
So if pink is your favorite color, just check with your spouse.
Yeah, or use it in a way where to the untrained eye, it doesn't even look that pink, but it's pink.
Yeah.
There's subtle ways to pull in your favorite color.
Or maybe you open your cabinet and it's all a hot pink.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Okay, so once you have identified your signature color, so you can use these various methods or ideas and take some time doing it. It's kind of a little bit of a commitment because you might be buying some things that have a higher price tag than just accessories in this color. So once you've identified it, then you're going to use it as the base for your color palette. And I think this is in line with what Anita was saying earlier, that you're going to have these supporting colors, supporting actors to play along with your star color.
Yes, exactly. I think that, so keep that in mind. You're going to have one or two major colors, and then these other colors are going to work in. And one may be more of a star in one room than another. But this way, you'll have a theme throughout your house, so to speak.
And I love that because, it doesn't have to be like a paint chip, where you've got your star color and then you've got one darker and one lighter. It can be contrasting. It could be complementary. We did a whole episode on complementary colors not too long ago. Just something that's going to work well with it. And also a color that has some meaning to you or just moves you in a way that other colors don't. Like, I've said this time and time again, I'm just not a blue girl, but I see blue and I like to wear blue. And when I see it, I really appreciate it. But there's something about blue that just doesn't, in my decor, that just doesn't make my heart beat faster. I think it's lovely. I just wouldn't want to live with blue.
Yeah, I think, well, exactly. And that's what makes us all different. So
it's a beautiful mosaic. But here's the thing, like you want to find the color that makes your heart beat a little faster and makes you feel good.
Well, right. And what you were saying, Kelly, I think is very important. There's a lot of different ways you can pick those other colors because you can even, like, say, if you picked a blue, you can kind of stick with colors in the blue family where you're going different shades of blue, right, and maybe with white and cream and oatmeal. I mean, that's one thing that you can do. Or you can go with complementary, which is going across the color wheel to something that's the opposite color. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. I did want to mention one thing because I know in working with a client recently, her house was so beautiful, but she felt like it was missing something. And she had used a lot of blue and white in her house, and it was beautiful. She'd done such a wonderful job. But I saw what it was that she was feeling, and it was too, it needed a little contrast. So I was trying to talk her into adding pink, which she didn't like pink, so we couldn't go there. But maybe like some coral or some peach or something, just a little touch, not like a whole room full of the color, but just maybe a pop here and there to kind of create a little contrast. Because as much as I love an all blue room, I feel like it needs some other color thrown in to kind of throw it off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Because it ends up making the blue look better, whether that it makes it look bluer or just in the the contrast of it, it makes it look better. Like in the garden, like I have a whole white garden, but even though my garden is all white, I do have blue or really lavender purple because there's not that much real blue in the garden. And I just can even see it in the garden. If there's a little salvia that's blue coming up next to the white roses, but just a little touch that you almost don't even notice it. Or I have lavender plants. It makes the white look better. It just, it makes it pop more.
Well, and we've talked about this with people that go with the neutral rooms that are all white. And I love the look, but you can't have everything in a room be white. You're going to have to put something else in there that's not white. Or it just looks like snow. It's snow. You've got snow on top of everything.
Yeah. And for your mind's eye, it's sort of confusing because it doesn't really know what to land on because it's all sort of the same. You can only do texture is terrific and should be utilized, but you can only do so much with different textures. So I think it is really nice to have a color mixed in.
Right. And we're talking about colors. I don't know about you, Kelly, but I'm not really counting neutrals, whites, creams, necessarily black Gray.
No, because I like what you were saying about when you pick your signature color, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is, you can go the route of then the other colors being the neutral. So you could have
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. And, you see that really well done all over the place right
Mm-hmm.
now. I think it's a little bit harder and there's a smaller number of people doing the real contrasting colors, like really going the either side of the color wheel. And I think that's harder to do and definitely harder to do really well.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do it. I mean, so I would refer people to our complementary colors episode where we go into you don't want it to look like Christmas all the time. So how do you use red and green together and make it work? So,
Well, right. And I love blue, and the opposite of blue is orange. And I really dislike orange greatly in my house.
right.
Like you don't like blue in your house. Orange just doesn't work for me. So yeah, I can't really do that, the complementary colors with the blue, because I'm just not crazy. So I do mix in some pinks and lavenders, which is enough of a contrast. I think makes it work quite well.
Picking your signature color is just going to really emphasize your personal stamp that you're putting on your home. And we talk about that in almost every episode. Like, this is your house.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
need to make it your own in the way that makes you feel best with, your color choices, your fabrics, and within your budget and all of those things, and your personal items, whether it be from travel or from your kids' art or photos or things like that. Having a signature color palette can just take that personalization, up a notch, like to another level. You can
Mm-hmm.
even get a color made specifically for you if you're talking about paint colors.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I also think about how a lot of influencers, bloggers have a particular color, palette in their homes or a particular look in their homes. And when you see the picture, we've talked about this, this is this person or that person. Well, I think that's fun for everyone to have a particular look, a particular mix of colors, where when somebody sees that, your friends will know, oh, that's your look. And another thing that's really cool about having your color palette defined is that when you are shopping for things, it's going to be so easy to figure out if this is something you want in your house. So you're going to kind of think, is this going to fit with my color scheme? Is it not going to work with it? And I think that's very helpful to rule out some things, because I think sometimes we have too many choices and it's very hard to decide. So this is going to make it easier. Although I'm going to add a caveat: if it's something you truly, truly love, even though it may not be the color palette of the room, I often just get it anyway. Because if it's just something, well, the reason I say that,
you can always move and change your color palette again.
Well, the reason I say that is because you want a collected feel for a room over time, and sometimes there's just something amazing, and it may not fit that color scheme. But I hate to say don't get it just because it doesn't fit the colors. It's kind of like we talked about the artwork. Don't worry about the artwork matching the colors of the room exactly. I hate for you not to get something. I got some chairs that I think they're from 1815. Some chairs I bought from the federal period. It's kind of an aqua and a green that I don't really have in my house, but they were one of a kind chairs. Amazingly old. This paint, I think, is original. How can I turn? And they have some red on them. Something I bought them anyway.
Oh yeah, you had to have those chairs,
Of
but
course.
they work. It's
They do actually do work in the room. Believe it or not.
They really do. So yes, point well made. If it is something that's just a wow piece, you can have a wow piece. You can have something that's adding some tension, but you don't want to do that on a regular basis. I think Anita's initial point, which is very valid, having this signature color palette that you developed for yourself, it curates the universe. And yes, there are a zillion different choices. And sometimes you get overwhelmed, particularly people get overwhelmed with paint colors, and people get really overwhelmed with fabric choices and all of that. So this will kind of you go to the part of the fan deck that just has your signature colors in it that you want to have. You go to the fabric store and you just pull out books that have your signature colors in it. It's going to make life a lot easier. Yeah. And then if you trip upon a piece of art or some cool old bird cage or something that's in an off color and it has a great patina, well, don't spray paint it your favorite color. Just leave it as it is and see how you can work it in. Yeah, those sorts of things will always make a room interesting, and they don't necessarily have to be within the signature palette. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of colors to throw out unless you've got some more advice on finding your signature palette.
No, go for it.
Okay, so some color palette starters. I just came up with a couple of blues, yellows, reds, and greens. I mean, really basics. We could spend hours upon hours talking about every single color, lavenders and grises and all of those. But I just think these are the basic colors. And I'm throwing out some now. These are paint colors, but they could translate into fabrics as well. But so if you took a look at these colors, you might say, oh, yeah, that's the kind of blue that I really like. So for the blues, there's Blueprint, which is actually Bear. That's the Home Depot brand, a color of the year. It's kind of a slate, smoky, kind of foggy blue. I think it's really pretty. Like if I was a blue girl, this might be a blue that I could live with.
Sounds beautiful.
And then the other blue that I absolutely love, and I've seen in action many times, I've used it with a couple of clients of mine, is Hail Navy. And that is a really beautiful navy. I'm not going to say it tends to black. It's not that dark, but it's also not, you don't think 4th of July when you see it. It's darker. The yellow is, I have two yellows, the Hawthorne yellow, again, from Benjamin Moore, and a Humble Gold. That's Sherwin-Williams. I used to have Humble Gold in my house. I love that color. I actually was toying with it. I'm like, I can't have a yellow room. No, I can't. But maybe my closet can be yellow, something like that. I don't want a yellow room again, but this is such a beautiful color. And it really is like the color of sunshine in a really subdued way. It's both of these colors are more, I would say, more like harvesty yellows rather than, I think a really bright yellow can be really cold. And I one time made a mistake in a guest room that we had years ago and had it painted in this. It was just not a good yellow. And that was lesson learned. You have to be really careful with yellows. And then a couple of reds, Ruby Red by Benjamin Moore. I mean, the name says it all. It is red. That might be a color that you pick. Oh, yes, red. I love red. That's going to be my signature color. But maybe you just paint your front door this, and then maybe you have a chair that you paint in the red or something like that. It's not a color you'd necessarily want to do a lot of decor with. And then there's Red Delicious by Gluten, also a really very vibrant red. And the greens. Oh, these two greens, really beautiful, really subdued. One is Royal Orchard. That's, again, by Bear. And then there's one Smoke and Ash by Dunn Edwards. I don't know if everybody knows about Dunn Edwards, but they're a brand here. I think they originated in California, and they've been in business for years and years and years. I'm not sure that you could get them everywhere, but you can certainly take the color, whether it's on your phone or if you could get an actual chip from them and take it to any reputable paint store, and they'll be able to match it for you.
Oh, those are some wonderful ideas. I was getting excited hearing about those colors that you were mentioning.
And would look, really nice with your lavender is this Smoke and Ash. I love the green and lavenders together.
Oh, I do too. I love green and purple together so much.
Yeah, that's really
and
cool.
I don't have a lot of green in my house, but I definitely have green in Elisa's room. So it's kind of an awning kind of a stripe on her bed. And so, of course, I have some blue and pink in there as well because I had to work it in, right?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I think that this is a really fun thing to take on, and maybe not something everybody thinks about. They think about, oh, what colors am I going to paint my walls? But really thinking about in a sense, like really owning these colors, like really thinking about what colors make you feel good and then working from there rather than, oh, here are the colors that are available and, I'll just pick from here, or let me just default to white, which is fine. But, again, if you're going to use white, then make it a white you really love and make white, your important color. That's kind of what I did here.
Yeah. And, sometimes we are limited by the colors available as far as fabrics go. I mean, paints, obviously, you can go with whatever color you want. But, the colors that are popular as far as textile fabrics do change. And so there's not, like one year it might be coral that's hot. Another year it might be chartreuse. So we are limited a little bit by that, like by those choices that the textile industry is making. However, with the internet, there's almost always the color that you want available somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think you'll be able to find it somewhere. You might just have to keep on looking if it's not as popular everywhere that year.
Yeah, if you need to dig a little deeper, and with this focus, it really does hone in your focus on what you're looking for, then you should be able to find it. So yeah, let us know if you have a signature color or you're developing your signature colors. Let us know. We would love to hear about it. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. We'll slide into our crushes now. Anita, do you have a crush today?
I do. We just came back from North Carolina, and it was so amazing being there. It always is. I love the mountains. And we like going into these little natural shops that have kind of a lot of healthy foods. And I came across a company called Reason to Bake. And you can find them at reasontobake.com. They're a gluten-free bakery. They specialize in gluten-free products. They're made in the mountains of North Carolina. And they focus on also on all natural products in their cookies and other baked goods. But here's the thing that, of course, really got to me. They hire and train intellectually disabled adults to work there. And it's a mom and her daughter, who the daughter, I believe, has Down syndrome, started the company. And the cookies were very good, too. But, I just love their mission also. So it's Reason to Bake, and I think they will ship to wherever you are. So do check them out.
So do they send you the mixes, or did they send you the actual cookie?
Well, I went into some stores that actually carry them, and I bought their cookies.
Right.
So they do ship their cookies, and they may have mixes as well. But
oh my gosh,
you can buy I think you can buy their cookies and cupcakes and things online.
Well, I'm gluten-free now.
Well, I know, isn't it great?
I tell you, it really is. And it wasn't as hard as I thought. But so I'm really excited about this, and what a wonderful company to support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I was just so excited to find them. So what's yours?
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's this month, or it's a dual month issue of Veranda. If anyone has picked this one up, you might agree. It is absolutely beautiful issue. Sometimes you get a magazine and you're like, oh yeah, a couple of things. I found in this issue, like I was dog-earing the pages. I wanted to sit down with a cup of tea and look through it again. This is a really good issue. So it's the Veranda, March, April, 2019. There was a really, in addition to all the other beautiful things, there was a really great article about David Austin. He has recently passed, and about his roses and what he did to develop the David Austin roses. So if you don't know too much about that, I think you might find that interesting article. But just a really, really lovely magazine, very inspiring. I got lots of great decor ideas, and I think everybody would love it. It's the enchanting gardens around the world. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? So I would recommend, if you're in the grocery store or wherever you get your magazines, to pick up this issue.
And it's the April-May 2019?
Yes. So no, March, April. So, you better get on it because it might be gone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go check that one out. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was a good one. And I'm sure you can still buy the issues, even if you're listening to this later, back issues. I know other magazines you could do that. So I'll see if there's a link to that. But I really enjoyed it. If you really want it, I could send you my dog-eared copy. Okay, so we're always giving tips, and we love when you guys send us tips. So we got this really great tip, and it's a very inspiring tip from Diana D. Diana emailed us. I sent her a quick little email back, but I will email her again to let her know that we're talking about her tip today. Diana said that she listened to the Happier in Your Home episode, and that it really rang true for her because she has found herself, I should say, feeling a little down. She even used the word depressed after spending time on Pinterest and House and different sites like that. And that really just breaks my heart that someone would feel sad. So I'm so glad that we did that episode, and that might have helped her. And she's suggesting and giving the tip to others that she has started taking photos of her favorite spots in her own home. So instead of wishing that her house looked like the photos on these various sites, she then looks through her own photos and thinks how lucky she is to be surrounded surrounded by all the things that she really loves.
Well, that's wonderful. And Kelly, maybe we should do an episode on how to take some really good pictures of your own home. Because I think that happens where you think your home doesn't look as good as these homes on Pinterest, but they're using all these lighting techniques and styling techniques that you're not using.
I don't edit really, but people use like serious editing equipment. If you're looking at something that's, in a magazine or something like that, it's been edited,
well, right. It could be edited, but again, well, but I'm just saying a lot of times people shoot their houses and, the light bulbs are on and then maybe it looks kind of yellow or something. And then they think, oh, my house doesn't look good when really, no, it's just the lighting.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys let us know. I think that's a great episode idea. If you guys would like to hear that, that would be great. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, let us know. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, because I mean, so many people are putting things up on Instagram, even if, it's not, you don't have to be a blogger. You don't have to be, editing a magazine. You just have your Instagram account and you want your pictures to look good, or it's just fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, should I admit this? When I'm out of town, sometimes I look at pictures of my house.
Because it just looks so dang good, or because you miss it?
I just miss it. I don't know. Isn't that? I know that's weird. Oh my gosh, that sounds weird.
Okay, I don't know. I honestly don't think that's weird. I mean, it's kind of like, Diana's sort of saying the same thing. She's even maybe not even out of town, and she's looking at them because it makes her reminds her of how much she loves her house and she loves the things that are in it. So I think that that's absolutely fine. No,
and it's not even that I miss my house, but it's just like, oh, that's right. I'll get to go home to my house at the end of the vacation.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I find it hard to go on vacation places because why go when you work so hard on your house and it's so beautiful and it's so comfortable and you're, again, like Diana said, you're surrounded by the things that you love. And then you go to a hotel room and you're like, wah, wah. Like, it's got to be really good for me to leave my house.
Well, I know. And then I kept getting all the pictures of my back porch on Ring. We have the Ring cameras because there's a black cat that has decided our house is hers. And she's just always on the back porch now.
Oh, how funny.
I know.
She's she has very good taste.
Well, I guess so. Oh, goodness.
So you get to look at your house on the Ring, too.
Well, yeah, I got to see it a little bit more than I wanted to this trip, but
that's so funny.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for sending in your tips, your ideas. We're so excited to hear from you. And as always, it's so fun hanging out with you. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
To remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.